gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Peña, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, so we're live here at Gamertag Radio, episode 1294. This is your host, Danny Peña, and also joining me, we have the whole Gamertag Radio crew. Let's start with Pete. What's going on, Pete?
What's up, everybody? What's up, guys? How are you? It's been a minute since the three of us have been on together.
Oh, my God. Has it been like a month?
Longer than that. Maybe? Longer than that, no? It was like I was still traveling, and I don't think the last time I was on the show was before I went on my world tour, I think.
It was probably June. It was probably June because I'd been traveling and working and stuff like all of July. I wasn't on a lot of stuff either. So
same. Yeah. So yeah.
Now, well, welcome back, Pete.
Yeah. Now
how's the weather in Europe? Because I know people have been telling me it's really hot over there.
So it was hot up until about Monday or Tuesday of last week.
Okay.
Right now it's a nice chilly. Well, I wouldn't even say chilly, but like I've got a long sleeve on and like pajama pants on for like the first time since like February, March.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, it's 14, 15 degrees outside. So in freedom numbers, that's 65-ish.
Oh, not bad. And also joining us, Paris Lilly. What's up, Paris?
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, man. Here, just waiting for your I've been checking out all your tweets. You know, just in case you've been hinting on stuff, you know, but
stop doing that.
Just want to say that. Yo, it is funny, Paris. You can't post anything online, bro.
Nah.
Everybody's just grabbing screenshots. Everybody's excited. Anything that Paris says, it has to be Starfield or something. So
it has to be that, or then people go, yeah, but this is the same dude that was excited about Cyberpunk and he got a chair. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that was 3 years ago. You still talking about that? Oh my God.
They're not gonna let go.
People are hilarious,
not gonna let go. It's all good. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while that we actually had like a live stream here, man. We've been super busy. But head over right now to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes. Also, you can find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. We're there. Subscribe, follow us, share the content. Just let everybody know about GTR. Also, if you'd like to be part of our family discussion, and we haven't done this in a while, we need questions. Send us questions. The more questions you send us, we can use that and create a whole episode or segment about fan mail. So here's how you could contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so right before we started recording this episode, Paris said he had an extra topic that's not on the list. Paris, I have no idea what you're going to talk about. You say it's related to one of the topics. You would like to go from there? Or?
Yeah, pretty simple. The fact that the PlayStation 5 has a price cut right now to $450. And what does that mean? Are we getting this PS5 Slim later this year? You know, there's obviously the rumors that kind of aren't rumors that PS5 Pro is coming next holiday, 2024. I was just curious what you guys think about getting a price cut right now for the PS5. And I will also throw in the fact that we're not seeing the same thing with the Xbox Series X. What do you think, Danny?
That is strange. I think it is smart for PlayStation to do that, to have a cheaper price, especially now that Spider-Man 2 is coming up in a couple months. I think this is the perfect time to do it. I think Nintendo Switch still hasn't decrease the price, right? There's no price cuts yet.
And then Nintendo ain't just lowering the price on nothing. They're like, you buying
they're
this.
not doing that. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is great, man. I mean, Xbox, think about it, little Paris. Do the company needs to do that because they still have a cheaper price for the S, even though it's not as powerful as the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, you know? So, I mean, look, maybe we might see that in the future. I don't know, but I think it's a smart move from PlayStation.
Well, I'd argue, and Pete, I want you to jump in right after this, but I'd argue that no, the Xbox, if you just look at the last financial numbers that came out, they're not moving hardware right now. So I think, yeah, you got an S, but I think the S needs a price cut too, to be honest with you. That's just my personal opinion. But kind of steering this back to PlayStation, and I'm curious what you think, Pete, is it seems like they're clearing out inventory of this current model of the PS5. That's my guess why we're seeing this price cut right now, because I do think a slim model is coming probably for the holiday. Yeah, that's what I personally think. I think we'll see something here in the next month or two. Might even be at Gamescom, where they're going to announce that, yeah, we got a PS5 Slim coming, and then they're going to put the price back up again to where it was at normal retail. And that's what we'll see them pushing this holiday. Obviously, Spider-Man 2 is going to be big for them this holiday, but that's kind of my thoughts. But what about you, Pete?
So, like, it was months ago. It was definitely way before I left for my business trips back in June. I had mentioned that I'd started seeing rumors about a PS5 Slim, right? The new Gen 2 version of the new PlayStation 5. And if the leaks and the rumors are all correct, it's basically the same thing, except it'll now we're going to go back to the original Xbox 360, a detachable disc drive. Where have we heard this before, guys? Right? A detachable disc drive that connects to your video game console. It's 2007 all over again. But yeah, so now it's supposed to have a USB-C connected detachable disc drive in the back of your PlayStation 5. I agree with you. It's both of you. I think it's perfect time to release a brand new iteration of the console. Get rid of whatever, and I'm surprised there's even stock available, right? I mean, you can, for the most part, still go to stores and get them online or what have you, but it's the stock numbers are not the same for PlayStation as they are for Xbox. But I agree. I agree. I definitely think it's a good time, especially pending the launch of Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man 2 is just going to blow the socks off of a lot of games coming out this year. People are going to be highly anticipating it. Now, what that will do in comparison to what Microsoft may or may not be doing, nobody knows. Nobody has an idea of what's in Phil's mind right now as far as hardware launches. Does Microsoft even need to do one? But I think, Sony is going to capitalize on this one massively. I just hope that there is an option for additional stock for people still who don't have a PS5, right? Is this version 2 going to be even available in the same way that the current PS5 is available now, right? Will people be able to just go to the store and pick it up, or are they just going to be stuck without it?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the $1 million question is, supply and demand, what's going to be available, because, coming out of the pandemic, we obviously know there was a lot of hardware shortages just industry wide, not just related to video games, but any kind of tech. It was hard, to get things in stock. And now we seem to getting to the point where that's no longer the case. Kind of moving this conversation forward beyond just right now with what potential a Slim is. I am curious again what you guys think about this PS5 Pro, and if Xbox should also do one, because I'm against both. Last gen, I understood it because, I'd said for years, last gen, I thought the Xbox One and the PS4, when they came out in 2013, those should have been 1080p 60 frames per second boxes out the gate. That's what they should have been. And they weren't. So it was kind of a half measure. So to have a mid-gen refresh to kind of correct that mistake made sense to me. Whereas now we're in this gen, we're doing 4K. You can't do 60 across the board on all these games, but there are performance modes. There are 60 frames per second options on a lot of these games. We're seeing ray tracing in some of these games. I don't see the point. I personally don't see the point for a mid-gen refresh. So we're going to get a PS5 Pro to have 4K 60 as the standard, I guess. But is that really, if I already have a PS5, is it really worth me going out spending $500 more just for that feature? I don't know. Not to mention devs are going to see the extra power and are they necessarily going to utilize it in that way? It's really up to the developer. We're obviously seeing that example with Starfield right now, right? So I don't know. I don't want to see a pro version of the PS5. I don't want to see Xbox come out with a pro version, of the Series X either. I think let's just ride out this gen. This gen has already been compromised because of the pandemic. To be honest with you, we've barely even seen any games that have truly taken advantage of the hardware we currently have. So why the hell are we coming out with new hardware when I've just not seen the games? Maybe we're about to start seeing that now with Starfield and Spider-Man 2 and some of the other things coming out in the next year or so, but not enough for me to want to go run out and spend $500 more on a console that I already have. That the upgrade that you're going to give me is essentially just frames per second, because what else is it going to do that the current one isn't already doing, in my personal opinion? So,
yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think it's a waste for both companies to do that. Now, I would like to see a price cut on the PlayStation VR 2. I prefer to see that than seeing a PlayStation 5 Pro. Because I feel like, look, and this is coming from someone that not a fan of VR. There's a lot of potential with that device. And it's not selling because it's so expensive, man. I prefer to see that, but yeah, Paris, I agree with you about PlayStation 5 Pro. I think it's a waste.
Have we gotten to the point where games are fully leveraging the powers of these?
Not yet.
To me, that's the whole thing. What's the game? I mean, ironically enough, I know we're going to talk about Ratchet and Clank. Maybe Ratchet and Clank, maybe. I don't feel like Horizon Forbidden West or God of War Ragnarok. I don't think we've had a true next-gen only game that has taken full advantage of this hardware yet, be it Xbox or PlayStation, in my personal opinion. I don't think so. So, like I said, maybe Spider-Man 2 is the one. And I know, hey, Danny, speaking of conversations we should talk about, we may or may not have had that conversation with a certain somebody a couple weeks ago. But it's like, even that, you see people online going, oh, I'm not seeing the difference between the PS4 version. So why are we doing a Pro? I personally don't get it. I don't feel a need. Whereas last gen, when the Xbox One and the PS4 Pro were coming out, I wanted one. I knew I wanted one because now we were going to truly jump into 4K resolution. We were going to start seeing some 60 frames per second games on that platform. Whereas now, that's pretty much what we already have. So 8K is marketing. That's not real. So you're not doing 8K. We're not going to all magically jump up to 120 frames per second at 4K with these games. 4K 60 is basically what they're going to do. So I don't get it personally. But that's just me.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe besides Ratchet & Clank, the other game that I feel like if it looks next gen, in my opinion, is Hellblade 2. That's it. I can't think of anything else, but we don't even have a date for that. That's probably like sometime next year that's coming out.
Yeah, and that game has been fully revamped from the old UE4 to UE5.
Yeah, it's on UE5. Yeah.
So we have no idea what it's even going to look like.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but speaking about Ratchet and Clank, let's talk about this review. And look, I'm not gonna talk about the whole review from PC Gamer. This was more of the conversation about Ratchet and Clank. The last game now got ported to the PC, and there was different conversations about how the PC version is going to play. Is it going to be similar to the PlayStation 5 and everything? But the conversation came up because I'm going to read the tweet because this is a very interesting tweet. This is from PC Gamer. You can follow them right now. It says Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is great on PC, but at $60 for a 10-hour story is not easy to recommend as we would like. I totally disagree with PC Gamer, but I want to hear your thoughts about this, guys, because I feel like this game is an amazing game. One of my favorite games when it came out. Was it like 2 years ago or a year ago or so? But the whole thing about 10-hour game or what for $60, I think it's just ridiculous. I didn't like that at all, man. But I want to hear your thoughts about.
Yeah, that was my issue with it. And, you know, I gave my 2 cents, and of course, X or whatever the hell we're calling it now. You know, people get all in their feelings over having an opinion.
Sure.
It isn't that they said, hey, I can't recommend this game at $60 because, you know, that's an opinion. I get it. It's a game that has already been out essentially 2 years at this point. That is understandable to me. It's the 10-hour part that gets me. That length of a game doesn't quantify the value of a game, in my personal opinion. Some of the best games I've ever played in my entire life have been 8 to 10 hour experiences because you've given me solid gameplay, an amazing story, something memorable that I take away from it that I felt, yep, that was worth my money. Where there's been other games that have been $70 and they're 100 hours and they're nothing but fetch it quests the entire time. And I don't feel like I'm getting my value just because you've inflated the time of the game by adding fluff to it doesn't make it more valuable. You know what I mean? So no, I don't agree with it's not worth $60 because it's only 10 hours. You could say it's not worth $60 because this is a game that's been out for 2 years. That makes sense to me. It's saying the 10-hour part. No, because gaming, there isn't it's like baseball. Baseball doesn't have a clock on it, right? You play it until the game's over. You play to 9 innings, just like a game. You play from start to finish. Whatever time you take in that game is up to that individual. Some are going to be shorter, some are going to be longer. It doesn't matter. Did I enjoy that experience? Was that experience memorable to me? And speaking specifically of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, for me it was. Absolutely. When I played it on PS5, I truly enjoyed that experience. I think the performance that Jennifer Hale gave as Rivet was fantastic, added a new layer to that franchise, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. So to say, oh, well, it was a short experience, so it wasn't worth the money, don't agree at all.
Yeah. What you think, Pete?
For a game that was reviewed so highly when it came out 24 months ago.
Right.
It's no different than what was released just now. It's just no difference other than it's a new platform to allow people to play it who had never had a chance to play it again, before. So why would that be like average? Would you say it would have been top 2, top 3 game that was released 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I still put it up there, and I still will put it up there now.
So if you look up on up on Google, the average ranking out of a 5 is 4.8, which, if you think about it, is a very, very well reviewed game. Mm-hmm. Nothing changed other than the platform upon which it's releasing. I agree with you both that value is different for anybody and everybody that plays, a game, right? How one person perceives their value per dollar or whatever, if they even do that, varies across the board. Like you, Paris, you could take games at 11 hours. Vampire Survivors, perfect example last year, right? One of our favorite games of the year. Mm-hmm. Would I rank it as high as a 4.8 out of 5? Potentially. It was a really, really good game, right? Hades is a little bit different, right? It's a little bit longer, almost like 18, 20 hours. But it was like $10-15. The value prop between the two of them are so large. All I'm trying to say is that, again, value differs from person to person. I don't know, other than perhaps maybe just putting up a clickbait title just to drive clicks and views to the reviewer and to PC Gamer was the purpose and reasoning for that. But I've paid a lot more for a lot less, and vice versa. I've paid a lot less and gotten a lot more out of my value.
Exactly.
So that is a person. It's like an opinion. Everybody's got one, like a butthole, right? So look, man, if it wasn't if it wasn't for you, it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
But to blast it just because it came out on PC it's ridiculous. That's childish, and it almost feels like it's back in the old days of Twitter when it was all about clickbait clickbait headlines of what we could do to drive.
Back in the day, what do you mean?
Back in the day, that's still going on.
This morning, 5 minutes ago.
This morning, yeah. But by the way, and people probably gonna ask this question, Paris, and I'm gonna ask, just to hear your opinion about this. But people are gonna say, "But Paris, The Last of Us remastered. You say it was $70. You were talking about price from that one." What about that, Paris? How you could compare both great games, by the way.
You're a freaking troll. You're a troll. It's so funny you say that because I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I'm surprised no one's tried to throw that one in my face. Maybe
here you go.
Maybe they have because I don't read the comments. But here's the difference.
Your camera's out of focus.
Is it? See, I want to get that. I want to get it filmic. I want to get that effect. Hold on. Let me focus my camera.
There you go.
There you go. The difference is this, as I said at the time, and I'll say now. If you would have put The Last of Us remake just on PC at that price, I wouldn't have complained. But whatever, because to the point, you're putting it on a new platform. My issue was you're remaking a game for the third time on this platform when backwards compatibility is available. You could still play it on the PS5. It wasn't like you couldn't play it on the PS5, right? Nothing about it changed other than you upgraded the graphics, the gameplay, the story, everything was exactly the same, and you're charging me full price for it. That's the difference. And to be fair, on PC, they are not charging you full price. It is $60. That is a $10 discount from what it was on PS5 for Ratchet, right? So there's your difference.
But also, I forgot to mention, it's remake, not remaster. I'll mess up on that one. Also, there's a lot of accessibility features in there too that was added. We forgot to mention
that ain't worth $70,
but it's $60
for a lot of people. Maybe for a lot of people.
Wait, are we talking Last of Us or Ratchet? Which one are we talking about?
Ratchet.
No, Last of Us. The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, okay. They ain't worth $70. I'll go to my grave on that one. And look, I've been vindicated. A year later, I've been vindicated because everybody sees my point now.
Yeah,
that game should not have been $70. It should not have been, because the people that you were trying to attract to that game was a new audience, right? It wasn't going to be until The Last of Us TV show came out that, oh my God, oh wow, this game, now you go run out and go play it. So when you put it out at this point last year, who's buying it? People have already played it 2, 3, 4, freaking 5 different times already. I didn't agree with it. I still don't agree with it. I think if that game came out at $50 or less, there's no issue at all. That's fine to me. Okay. But that's my opinion. Y'all can be mad at me all you want. That's just me. Mm-hmm. I like my money.
Find them on X at Vicious696. It's all good.
I should have known you were going to bring it. I was like, you're a freaking troll, dude. I was like, wow, here we go.
I get
attacked on my own show.
We're having a conversation. I'm not being a troll. I'm asking questions, man. I'm curious. Just curious about it.
Okay, Tucker Carlson. I'm just asking a question.
Fair and balanced.
You want to go take a ride through Inglewood? You want to do that in the car? I could be Ice Cube. And we go ride around.
Well, I mean, you can ask me some questions. It's like Greg Miller going to 8 Mile. It's the same thing. It's all good. So, Pete, I know you've been also playing some games, mm-hmm. and one of them is PAYDAY 3 closed mm-hmm. beta. Tell us a little about the game, man. Good, bad?
So, I mean, it's early beta for PAYDAY. If you've played the first 2, it's PAYDAY 3, right? So if you've played the first 2, nothing has really changed. It's better graphics, quicker, better performing, right? And again, this might just be my beta experience, right? They've stripped down a bunch of things. I'm having a lot of fun with it. If you have a chance to get into the beta itself, mm-hmm. do it if you like that type of game, right? Obviously, you're playing it's cops and robbers. Playing it this morning, I really like the way that cross-platform. So I was playing with people on, if I recall correctly, 2 people on PC, 2 people on Xbox console. So that was really cool. Mm-hmm. I like the way that they've set up the game so now you've got an internal and an external way of playing it. Like you can play it outside and try to sneak around the cops or the security guards to try to go and get whether it's thermite or like to break into electrical room to turn off the security system, things that weren't available in the original release.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I am having a little bit of fun with it. It's there's no instruction booklet or there's no like tutorial when you get into it. So when you launch into it, you're really figuring it out in real time. Difficulty is a little up there, but your character as it's in the beta is a little OP because you can sit there and just tank bullets and not go down. But aside from that, if you like a cops and robbers type first person shooter, I would suggest it for now because it is again Payday 3 beta. Just to get in, if you can get in, have fun. I like it. I'm enjoying it.
All right, and it's only for the weekend, right? The beta.
It ends tomorrow. So when you hear this, you'll have a few hours left to play the beta. If you can get in, absolutely, I would recommend it.
Cool. And also Remnant 2 for the PC. Paris, have you played that on a console at all or PC?
I have not. I actually downloaded it the other day and then I got distracted and I didn't play it. So I've not played it.
Game is really good. I haven't gotten far with it because I've been busy with other stuff. But I know Pete, he was telling me, Danny, I got a lot of notes on this. This guy was like, hey, let's talk about it.
So
I never played part 1. Have you played part 1?
I did not, but the cool thing about it is you don't have to have played the first one. It helps because there are callbacks to the original from what I understand. But it's a direct sequel set 20 years after the original game that came out. If you asked me for like a 5-second elevator pitch on what Remnant 2 is, it's Borderlands, which makes sense. It's a Gearbox game, mixed with a little bit of Destiny 2, mixed with any Souls-like, Soulsborne type game. And that's like the perfect way to explain it really quickly. It's a non-linear, procedurally generated Souls-like third-person looter shooter RPG. That is probably one of the longest genre titles I've ever, granted a game. But after the beginning intro of the game, you get to choose your archetype or your class. One of the cool concepts is that you can do multi-class. So you can select between multiple classes throughout the game. But just be forewarned that you only get one primary perk. So each archetype has a specific class or a specific perk that you can do. But you can only have one primary on at any time. So for example, the handler archetype gives you a dog companion that runs around with you. You can send it to attack. It'll warn you when enemies are coming in, and it can also revive you if you're down. So that's pretty cool. You launch the game with 4 archetypes, the handler, medic, challenger, and hunter. If you got the pre-order, you could get gunslinger, but you don't have to have the pre-order to get it. You can just unlock it later on via gameplay. There's 10 or 11, I think, in total. There's Summoner, Alchemist, Archon, Invader, and I'm sure there's 1 or 2 more that I can't remember off the top of my head. So they all have their own varying degrees and varying perks that you can use in game. I've been having a lot of fun with it. In the original game, from my understanding, is the armor was a source of like a big buff in the game, but it was really dependent on whether you got full sets. If you remember the Division 2 or the Division 1, if you got full sets of armor, like all the multiple pieces, like wrists and chest and legs and helmet, you got, extra buffs. Well, this game the original game used to do that, and they've kind of taken that away in order so that the armor only grants you protection and resistance. And there's a weight cost because it will impact either movement or dodging speed. But those set requirements or those set bonuses are no longer there. The way that you do this now, the way that you upgrade your character throughout the game is through mods and mutators. Mods upgrade the power on your weapon. So just be mindful that not all weapons can be modded simply because they may already have like a perk or something built in that's preventing you from modding it. Mutators are added for passive effects. So what I've been doing in my game is I've been using Hot Shot and Bandit. So Hot Shot grants 20 seconds of fire burning damage, and Bandit grants me 30% chance of returning ammo back into the mag. and then combine that with the Gunslinger archetype perk, which lets you fire faster. That lets you literally just rain fire down on your enemies at a rapid clip. The cool thing about it is just finding and mixing and matching the mods and mutators that fit your game style and the archetype, right? So that way you can get it. And that's what I've basically been doing, is using that. I've been using Handler and Gunslinger. So since I play a lot of solo, I can have the dog come up and revive me just in case I go down. But then I can also take advantage of the faster fire, the better handling with an automatic weapon, while also having fire on my bullets as they go down range. You can also go to rigs in the ward to upgrade all your weapons and mutators, but not your armor. So I've been playing it on PC since about a week ago when you sent me the code. So thank you for that. It's much better performance-wise, but I have been able to get it running on my Steam Deck, which gives me a little variance of not having to just come into the office to play. I can just sit on the couch and just kill time, or if I'm on the train or whatever, I can play it there. It is, it takes a little bit of getting used to, because I'm so used to playing shooters from a keyboard and mouse perspective. So getting used to it on the Steam Deck has been a little challenging. But again, it's not as well performing on Steam Deck as it is on PC.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It is something that you can accommodate for by adjusting your performance levels or FPSs on the Steam Deck. They also just released a patch earlier this week that addresses a lot of the performance crashes and hitching that the PC side was getting. They've also added a lot of quality of life improvements, additional trait points to your cap. So now it's 65. When the game launched, it was only 60. So they've actually allowed you now to do that. Once you've maxed out your traits, the Tome of Knowledge will also grant you additional scrap and XP if those specific traits have already been maxed out to 10. You can now also equip a second archetype without having trait requirements. So you could now just go and grab it as long as you have the engram to do it. And they've also released a bunch of other quality of life and balancing that I'm not going to talk about it, because this is going to become like Remnant 2 radio. And I don't think
that's all good. It's all good.
I'll give you. I can put the link in the chat, or we could put it in the podcast notes for people who want to check it out.
Have you tried the co-op in this at all?
Unfortunately, because I'm 6 and 9 hours ahead in the future, I haven't had a chance. But
well, according to Paris, it's 5 minutes. No, but honestly, you could join random matches.
You can join randoms. People can join you. Yeah. You can actually go into the menu and turn that off if you don't want people joining your sessions, or because some people just prefer to play solo, but it is an option for people.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So highly recommended for everyone to check out, especially Pete. If people only have the Steam Deck, do you think it's worth just playing this on the Steam Deck? Oh no, very quick.
If you can tune it properly, right? It's going to take a few minutes for you to tune it. But I think it's something that you can play on the go and enjoy it and have fun. So I think it is.
All right, cool. All right. So hopefully we'll see you online. Hopefully, Pete.
Hopefully we can.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm down.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so I'm gonna play this interview that I recorded with the wrestler legend from, of course, it's from way back from the WCW, WWE. I had a chance to talk to Jeff Jarrett about the new game that's coming out actually this week called WrestleQuest. If you're a fan of RPG and wrestling, I highly recommend it for you guys to check this game out. It's going to be available on consoles, Steam, and I believe also on phones too. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's going to be a consoles and PC for sure. So I sat down with Jeff Jarrett and also Mega Cat Studios. We had a great conversation about this game, and I'm going to play it right now. And we'll be right back after this.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're back here at Gamertag Radio, and we have a special guest here, man. You know, I've been talking about WrestleQuest now for a while now, since last year. But we have a couple of guests here, and we're going to be talking about the game. You guys want to introduce yourself? Let's go with the legend himself. Jeff, let's go with you first.
Danny, you're supposed to say the man who needs no introduction.
That is true.
12-time World Heavyweight Champion, the 2-time Hall of Famer, Double J himself. Howdy, folks. J-double-F, J-double-R-E-double-T. That's Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Executive wrestling producer of WrestleQuest. Now choke on that, Danny.
All right, there you go. And also, Zach, you would like to go next?
I'm Zach the Snack Manco, head of studio at MegaCat.
All right, and James?
James J.A. single M-E-S Deegan, founder of MegaCat, big fan of Jeff Jarrett.
Bingo.
Bingo. There you go. Now, I have to say, I've been playing this now for a while now. I really, really love this game. And Jeff, I don't know if you're a huge gamer or not, but this game reminds me of the old school Super Mario RPG where you collide like two different games together into one. So I'm a huge wrestling fan. So, you know, seeing this as an RPG, I was like, okay, this is going to be something different. And I think I'm going to get into it. And look at that. Been playing it for a couple hours, man. Love the game, man. So, but let's talk.
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
Let me just flip the script on you.
Sure.
You're here to interview us. Let's interview you.
Sure.
Give me 3 things that you like about it. Because it sounds like you're a wrestling fan and a JRPG fan.
Well,
So give me 3 things you like about it.
Well, first, RPG. Love RPGs. 2, especially, you know, old school wrestling, 80s and 90s. I like that a lot. You know, I see a couple of my favorite wrestlers in there. You're included in there. So I was like, all right, this is awesome. And I just love the vibe is very different than any other wrestling game that I played. I think I love that. It's very, very unique. Those are the 3 reasons why.
Okay.
Okay, here, all right. But yeah, so how this concept came about? Let's go with James. How this came about with coming up with the concept and everything.
You know, we've been making games for a long time now. It's like 8 years at MegaCat alone. Some of our team members have been in the games longer than I've been alive, and there's just a profound love at our studio for RPGs and a reverence for what goes into making a good one. And we decided a few years ago to just jump off the cliff and make something we love and something we want to be known for. So it's been on the bucket list forever, like since early days starting MegaCat, and you know, we had such a love for that genre growing up in the 16-bit era with Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Super Mario RPG is one of my all-time favorite games. And then we always wanted to make a wrestling game. And when we were looking at what we loved about wrestling and kind of looking at everything else that had been explored, we realized that there's a perfect intersection here with storytelling and characters and spectacle that wrestling could do and could have. And we wanted to nail a unique visual identity so it didn't get lost in the sauce of the million other wrestling pixel art games that came before us. And we came into this really personal space of nostalgia with the genre we grew up with like the style and art of pixel art that we were raised by that made us eventually join the games industry and create MegaCat, and then the action figure collectability of wrestling and these really wild characters. So that's kind of the summary of the origin of it. It took a lot longer for us to get started. Just the size and the scale and the licenses and the timing is just there's so many things hurdles to hop, mountains to climb. So we've been climbing, dude.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, like, how was it? You know, for them, like pitching this to you for the first time. What was it that stood out to you about the game that you were like, yeah, I need to be part of this project?
You know, I've been doing a lot of press, and the game obviously comes out next Tuesday. So on the kind of the ramp up, this is probably my favorite question to answer in that because it's so simple that me and James, our relationship originally started on a completely different project on kind of gamifying a wrestling live event. More to come. Just stay tuned there on that. But then, you know, flipping the script on the other side is, okay, how are we going to WrestleFi a game? And when they started kind of laying out not just the IP, which blew me away, Andre the Giant, Macho Man Randy Savage, the Road Warriors, Jake the Snake, Coco Beware, JYD, Rocky Soul Man, just on and on and on. That obviously from a a wrestling guy, that kind of jumped off the screen. But once I've kind of dove into the DNA of everything, the word that I've continued to use throughout, and I've also used this going back 15, 20, 30 years, the authenticity. That's really what wrestling's about. And everyone knows that we're not true sport, but we're that hybrid. Yes, we simulate a sport, but we're much more leaning in to the entertainment aspect. But when entertainment meets sport, it's that fancy term called sports entertainment. But what's really under that? It's storytelling. At the end of the day, it's good versus evil. You can call it protagonist, antagonist, good versus evil, baby faces versus heels, whatever you want to call it. The essence of storytelling is truly about life. But Zach, being the creative driving force, when you really get into the DNA of the game and really look at Macho, Muchacho Man, his ascension is what professional wrestling is about. So the authenticity and how true it is to professional wrestling is something that's really special, that's never, ever been done or really even had the opportunity to be in a game like this, because simulation games, goes down the sporting avenue. But at the end of the day, the thing that really joins us all together as a team that makes a very powerful team is that we're truly wrestling fans. And wrestling fans, you either get it or you don't. And so that's kind of the jumping off point. WrestleQuest gets it.
Yeah. And Zach, how was the process of getting other wrestlers to be also involved with this project too? How was that process for you guys?
So I'll actually tee up James for this, but I can say that it was a lot of highs and lows, right, sir?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. We want to make sure that we're both bringing wrestlers into the fold to use them as they are in WrestleQuest, where they can stand among one another. So in WrestleQuest, you don't play as like JYD or Andre the Giant or the Road Warriors. So there are cities built in their honor, and there's these massive Statue of Liberty style perspective statues you walk up to, and you might walk up to the statue and say, what do I do with my gimmick? Like, no one loves me. How do I find myself? And these giant statues are there to guide you, like through this WrestleQuest universe. So we had to make sure that the talent could stand among one another. They had to all be legends. They had to all be, independently owned, costumes, identity, and current licensing limitations. So it's often the case in this era where they would have established common trademarks from the territory era, and they'd have different other deals that are out there in the wild that needed wrangled and discussed and sorted out, and none of it's transparent and accessible. And then in general, beyond those two kind of thread the needle crosshairs, is also just, we want to make sure they're going to make the game great. It had to be people that we could bring into the fold that have characteristics and gimmicks that would pop on screen in an RPG. So it definitely took some time, and I'm probably 20 years older now because of it, but I'm very happy with what we got done.
Yeah. And Zach, what you can tell us a little bit about the story, the main character in this game.
Yeah, so Muchacho Man is inspired by his hero, Randy Savage, to enter the world of wrestling. He starts out, 4 inches from his CRT, just glued to the action as a young boy. Then he goes out and does some backyard wrestling. And it's really about sort of, again, being this love letter to wrestling. He's kind of like in our position, because a lot of us were the same way, playing with the wrestling action figures, staying up late to watch the pay-per-views. And so he lives and breathes wrestling. And as an adult, he exists in this constant kayfabe where for him, wrestling is still all real, bigger than life. And his story is really about, can he maintain that sort of like innocent, pure relationship with it as he becomes a wrestler and moves up the ranks? Can he maintain that kind of like innocence without losing his soul, more or less? And the villains he comes up against are, they're just interested in control. Essentially, it's about controlling every promotion, every ring, every script across the wrestling world. So those forces come to a head, but those are only a few of the characters. There's a large cast. Getting back to the RPG nature of it, there's 12 playable characters. They each have their sort of time in the spotlight.
And Jeff, what you can tell us about your character in the game?
It's the Double J version, if you will. Yeah. Zach that I'll call it a marketing line, if you will, but a love letter to professional wrestling. I do a podcast every week, and Conrad Thompson is sometimes it's maybe not a love letter, but it is all about 80s and 90s wrestling. So when you kind of look at the characters, and that's me, Zach. Again, the real driving force creatively. Just again, these iconic figures from the professional wrestling world are cities are built around them, and persona and the character, and that's kind of one of those things that you. As you roll along in the game, it's so relatable, engaging, and again, there's so many Easter eggs. A lot of fun. I'll just say that, a lot of fun.
Yeah, did you recorded some voice stuff for this too, or no? Because I know there's characters there. You hear like their voices in there too in the game. I know you have your guitar in there too. So how was that?
I got to give my man Mr. Hickey. He would be, so how mad if I just said no. He's the voice Rio man in the game. How many voices does he do?
He does a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a guy. I asked him one time, but anyway,
yeah.
Patrick Hickey Jr. is our voice guy.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, it sounds like you guys. I'm like, oh man, this is legit. This is legit. Yeah, really man. Good. Yeah, I'm very curious to see like once this goes out to the masses. I know you guys have been promoting this to different conventions, and I think recently was Comic-Con. How was the reaction seeing people playing it for the first time and meeting the wrestlers there in person too? How was that process for you guys too, man?
So it's always great to take our games live and see people what they come away with. Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped on you. It goes the booth is PAX East, PAX West, San Diego Comic-Con, but the PAX booths have been the best. I'll let you elaborate. My man Zach can wear a few different outfits, but I'm telling you, seeing folks come up and actually play the game, that is about as great of focus group feedback. It's off the charts fun.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny, Jeff, because this is like your first time actually going to like a lot of gaming events to promote this, right? So I'd love to see you more in the future in more projects in gaming too, man. Because it looks like you guys been having a great time doing this, man, together.
You'll see me. I can remember when James said, "Hey, do you have this weekend available in PAX East?" Anyway, so kind of getting into that whole DNA, and look, goes without saying, back in the 90s in a WCW game, and then the WWF, and then at TNA with the Midway game, and just kind of my progression in video games. At this stage of my career, it is, man, I'm as excited as about WrestleQuest as about anything I have going on in my business world. So it's really, really cool.
No, that's really cool to see, man. And James, I mean, actually, like, why was it so important to have, the legends, old school wrestlers from like 80s and 90s? Is it because the way how the style is 16-bit era, or was it a combination of both, or like, just because you're just a fan of the 80s and 90s wrestlers, or what?
Yeah, just trying to immerse like the nostalgia, like that sense of when we were introduced to RPGs and wrestling the first time. So that's what we wanted to capture with WrestleQuest, and I just feel like the part of that authenticity is having some of the folks we have in the game.
Yeah. And for you, Zach?
It does get back to the idea of it being a love letter. We made this game because we're fans of wrestling and we're fans of RPGs, and the way we have these legendary wrestlers is unlike other games. We literally put them on a pedestal. They appear as these larger than life Statue of Liberty style statues where, people come from all over to seek advice and pay homage and things like that. And again, it's about giving them the respect that they deserve, and showcasing, presenting that legacy to, hopefully a whole new generation of fans.
Yeah, cool. And Jeff, do you play games at all? You casually or anything like that?
Or look, I've got 5 kids, so
you already know what's up.
I do, but I don't. But I'm I got a lot of. I'll just say my calendar stays full, but you wouldn't call me a hardcore gamer at all. But me and James got a partnership, Moonsault Digital. So you never know. You might see Double J on his own Twitch channel before long.
Yeah. And quick question: the guitar. the sound effect is legit? It's exactly how it is in real life, or what? In the game?
Let's go back to that word, authentic.
Yes, official.
Have you seen the spot where I cracked the office worker?
I've seen that video.
Well, you're looking at the star of it, and it's not me.
I can attest to the authenticity of the guitar shot sound effect.
Bingo!
Yeah.
Here we go.
There you go. Awesome, man. And so what's next for you guys now? Okay, the game is already out. You know, in a few days, man. What's next for you guys? You just gonna relax, take a break, or gonna work on other projects, or what?
Well, we have some incredible DLC underway that I can't wait to announce,
Ooh.
and I honestly think it doubles the appeal of WrestleQuest for fans. It's super exciting, so I can't wait for that. And then I'm probably going to take like a 6 to 8 month vacation.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, yeah.
Next Tuesday, August 8th, right? That's when you think WrestleQuest is coming out. That's the launch of the Quest franchise. Get ready.
Yeah, nice. And I don't know if you are allowed to say in it, but are we gonna see new wrestlers maybe or not? Or more info coming soon?
I'm deferring.
I can't spoil it, Danny, but you can better believe as long as we're around, there's going to be more wrestlers.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome. Awesome to hear, man. No, but it's been an honor talking to you guys, man. Jeff, huge fan, from way back. And I can't wait to see what's next for you, especially in gaming. Where'd
you grow up? Where are you from?
I'm from New York City.
I love it.
New York City. But I also lived in Miami, Florida. So I will go to like wrestling matches over there.
You ever been to a wrestling show at the Garden?
Oh, not in the Garden. But I've been in Miami. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
In Miami multiple times. Yeah. But yeah, man, congrats, and can't wait to see the reaction from everybody else, man. 'Cause this is a great game, and I highly recommend everybody check it out.
Love it. Appreciate your time today, man.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Gamertag Radio.
All right. So we're back here. Paris is out of focus, as always. Shout out to him. And also, shout out to Pete for the amazing breakdown of both games, Payday 3 and also Remnant 2. And look, we have a couple weeks before the craziness starts with all these games that's going to be coming out in September and October. Besides Starfield, and Spider-Man. I know those are the two top games. Is there any other games coming out during that time that you were like, you know what? I'm going to check it out?
What's the time frame again?
Between September, October.
Oh, easy. Phantom Liberty and Super Mario Wonder.
All right. And for you, Pete, around that time, that is not Starfield, not Spider-Man 2. He's probably checking the calendar. Like, let me check.
No, I'm trying. I want to go back to the list that I sent you.
Wait, you sent me a list? What was it? What?
Just 2 days. Like, this was like 2-3 days ago. I sent you the list.
Oh, you okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Armored Core 6.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Stalker 2, if it actually comes out this year again, if it doesn't get delayed again. AC
Is
Mirage.
it coming out?
And surprisingly, AC Mirage.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited for the expansion of Cyberpunk. That's a given. And Forza. I think the new Forza, I'm going to check it out. I'm very excited to try that out. And also Super Mario. For sure, I'm going to try that out. So, what happened, Paris? You cracking up?
Can I completely derail the podcast?
Yes.
Into
I'm worried.
Something that just happened in real time. And I saw you reply to it as well.
Oh.
Okay, let's get something straight here. Britt.
Uh-oh.
It is not my fault that you are a fan of a pointless game that they just keep remaking over and over because they have no other new ideas. But, it's a zombie and, they bit me and I'm just go shoot them. And you've been doing that for 20 years. Do something new. And for you to attack me on social media by bringing up the highly beloved Banjo-Kazooie in such a negative fashion is hurtful. I just have to say it. It's not my fault that no one cares about Resident Evil. I don't care how many copies are sold. They're just buying the same damn game for 20 years. Whereas all I'm asking I can't even. All I'm asking is just give me one. Just give me one more banjo game, please. And your words on social media hurt. That's all I'm saying. That's it. I'm done.
So you're hurt. You're hurt
Yes.
right now. You're hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. They're going to go back and forth. And shout out to Brit. She's from What's Good Games because, Paris only said Brit. They could be any Brit. But, Paris and Brit, they got to just hug it out, man. That's it. You got to squash the beef, man, and move on. That's it. It's all good. All right. So we're gonna be. Oh, actually, I'm gonna read one more thing, and I forgot to read here this part in the beginning of the show. So last week, I asked a question about the Nintendo next gen console, like the names, right? And I was just very curious. We had a great conversation, Rihanna and I, about Nintendo's next plan that hopefully is coming out next year or so. So I asked on Spotify the poll for last week, Nintendo next gen console name. 31.4% called it Switch 2. 17.1% says Switch Pro, and the majority, 51.4%, wants they want a new name. Forget about Switch 2, Switch Pro. They just want a new name. So
I agree.
Paris, very quick.
I agree with the majority. It's going to be a new name, and I'll tell you why.
I agree too.
And people got mad at me on Twitter saying this too.
What?
It's not going to be backwards compatible to the Switch.
That I disagree.
It's not. It's not. This is Nintendo. And look, people are like, well, there's precedent out there that they're doing X, Y, and Z. I don't care. This is Nintendo. Nintendo is like, we will make you rebuy these games 100 times. We are not giving you a free pass. I will bet you cash money right now that Super Mario Odyssey will not be natively backwards compatible on whatever this next Nintendo console is going to be. They will remake it and have you buy it again. Same goes for Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, all this stuff that's on the Switch, Mario Maker, everything. They're going to say, you want to play it again? Buy it again. And part of the reason I think this is, again, I'm going off of the rumors, so none of this is reality yet. But if the rumor is true, they're coming out with a new cartridge format. Why? If you were going to make it backwards compatible, why are you making a new cartridge format? Because not every game's digital. I have plenty of physical copies here. So they're telling me, nah, you're going to buy another one. That's what they're saying.
You sound angry. Man.
You know why? Because I'm an idiot and I'm going to go buy it all again. So I'm just mad at myself.
Yeah, you should be mad at yourself. No, honestly speaking, I read online, and this is from multiple sources, saying that Nintendo is trying to make this as easy as possible to transfer from the Switch to this new console. And with your account, you could also download the games that you previously purchased digitally from the eShop.
Why would they change if they've never done that? Is it more for perception?
I think because they're behind compared to other companies. That's what I think it is.
But does that matter? What are they behind? We're the idiots that keep buying this stuff.
Paris,
have you sold your Switch? Have you sold your Switch in anticipation of buying the new Switch 2?
Hell no,
Pro?
because I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it to play my old games.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see them doing that. But Paris says no. I say yeah. Pete,
I do not.
Are you siding with Paris, Pete?
I'm siding with Paris. They got no reason to do it.
Yeah,
you could say precedent for whatever. They've never had to. They've never needed to. Why? Because me, you, Paris, the three people next and behind you are going to go out and go. Y'all take Apple Pay? Do you take Google Pay?
Danny, you already know what's going to
happen. Credit card, cash, they're going to pay for it.
Danny, this is what's going to happen. Early next year, they're going to have a Nintendo Direct. They're going to show off this new hardware, and they're going to go at launch. Mario, insert name, 3D, new is going to be there. We're going to lose our freaking minds, and we're going to be like just throwing the credit card at the screen trying to buy this thing. And they're going to slip in very quiet at the end. Yeah, you can't play your Switch games on here either. And you ain't even going to hear it. And you're just going to keep going. And then you're going to buy it and be happy. That's what's going to happen.
Here's my Switch. Give me $15 off and let me go buy it brand new.
Yes. And then guess what they're going to do? And then guess what they're going to do? 2 years after, they're going to remake all these Switch games and go buy them again. You broke son of a guns. And we're going to go, okay.
Yes, sir.
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? When I'm right, Paris and Pete are never going to give me props, but it's okay.
Never will. Ever.
It's okay.
Why?
You're right about that one.
Never. It's like, look, and I'm going to call out Paris because I called him out
Episode
yesterday.
46.
I'm going to call,
episode 4392.
I'm going to call Paris out. I'm ready to call Paris out. I remember I was so excited. Let's go back to 2013, yo.
Oh my God.
Let's go back to 2013. I was very excited for an iconic game to come back, and I went to Times Square and I played this game there, and I also played at E3, which I was kicking people's asses at the event. Killer Instinct. I was like, man, this is amazing. Paris was like, man, making fun of me, making fun of the game. And now Paris like, hey man, I was wrong. That game is like it's really good. You should apologize to me and say I was right. That game is iconic and it's good. And they come in with a brand new update, 10-year anniversary.
Never.
People got excited.
Never.
Let's go.
Never. You better take that generic apology I put on Twitter and apply it to yourself because this is close as I ever get.
Wow. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's going to happen with the Nintendo Switch. Paris is not going to give me props. He's like, hey, oh, well, it is what it is. I'm glad the Nintendo changed. And that's it. He won't say anything else.
Yup. That's all I'm going to do. I go, hell, wow, this is very consumer friendly. Thanks, Nintendo. And that's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to keep it moving.
It's all good.
And you laughing.
Yeah, Foreskew.
You laughing because you know Nintendo's not going to do that. You already know it.
Look, Nintendo, I think is going to... Look, they have a lot of competition, man. They're going to do it.
What are you talking about? Did you just not watch the FTC trials with the PlayStation and Xbox was just crying about Nintendo? Like, oh, they got all this market share. We don't know what to do. That's what they were just saying. A competition. They're Nintendo. It's Nintendo. Of course. Look, man, times have changed. It took forever for Nintendo to decided to like, hey, we got to make a console that is HD. Remember that? They were dying using the old format. It took Nintendo a very long time. It is possible they're going to do this. They're going to change. I'm going to be serious for a second. And for real, think about at this point what the 40-year history of Nintendo and the home console business, right? In 40 years, only 2 mistakes with their main console. Only 2. GameCube, Wii U. That's it. Everything
3.
else has been a huge success for them. Everything else.
Oh, so the Virtual Console was a very successful.
I said main console. Take a Q-tip.
Hey, that's a console. That was considered a console back then. They were considered that as a console.
That's why I said main because I'm not counting the Virtual Boy. That was a side.
Virtual Boy.
That was a side piece. Yeah. That wasn't main. That was a side piece. That doesn't count. That's like saying the DS was their main console. It wasn't, but it wound up being a huge hit for them. They could make a mistake on the side piece stuff. My point is this. Nintendo has never, the only time they ever truly tried to compete head to head on the power narrative was the GameCube. And when they realized that didn't work, they pivoted immediately into the Wii. Monster. Wii U, they didn't differentiate it enough from the Wii. It was confusing. Nobody bought it. Right? But the idea for the Switch was born out of the Wii U. And boom, here we are again. Monster.
Yeah, that part I agree with
Monster.
you. That part I agree with you.
So I'll say again, being semi-serious now, but I'll say again, with this new Switch that's coming out, whatever they're going to call it, I am personally preparing myself for it to not be backwards compatible because I don't want to feel disappointed. Because to me, Nintendo doesn't necessarily have the incentive to make it backwards compatible because they can say, this is a new system, new games. The old ones don't work on it. We're going to keep it pushing. And they already know they have such a loyal and installed fan base. No, ain't nobody leaving. You ain't leaving because you guess what? You want to play that Mario. You're going to play that Metroid. You're going to play the Zelda. You're going to play the Kirby. All the stuff. They already know. They got us. It's hostage situation. With the Stockholm syndrome, whatever they call it, right? I ain't leaving. They got us.
All right, I remember this. August 6, 2023. 8:20 a.m. Pacific. I don't know what time it is over there, Pete, but I just want to remember that.
Whatever it is, it's 9 hours plus 5.
Can I acknowledge your wife? Can I acknowledge your wife in the chat?
I'm gonna be right. What happened? What happened?
Because I want to say something to Reed directly. I'm with you. The GameCube. It hurts me too to talk bad about the GameCube. I love the GameCube. I'm just the reality of it. It just didn't sell that well. That's all. I love the GameCube.
Wii U was it was worse than the GameCube, but the GameCube, compared to their competitors and previous consoles, it wasn't. The numbers wasn't up there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, people love the GameCube, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So let's wrap it up here. We're gonna be back next week with more content here, and everyone, thank you so much for watching us live. We haven't done this in a while, and also listen to the podcast. Until next time, we're out. August 6th. 2023.
You act like I'm saying the craziest thing ever.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.